Let's be real for a second, the summer heat this year, it is absolutely brutal. You know the feeling. You get into your car, practically begging for a blast of freezing air, and instead, you're hit with this pathetic, lukewarm breeze. It's the worst. Your AC is clearly struggling, and just the thought of waiting in those massive, never-ending lines at the service center is dread-inducing. So in this explainer, we're going to fix exactly that. We're diving into some incredibly simple, straightforward DIY hacks that you can do right in your own driveway to literally double your car's AC cooling. And the best part, it's going to save you a ton of time and a whole lot of cash.
60 degrees Celsius. I mean, let that sink in. That is how insanely hot the interior of your car can get when it's just sitting out there parked in the blazing sun. If it's hitting around 45 degrees outside, your cabin is easily baking at 55 to 60 degrees. You can't even sit on your own leather seats without scorching yourself. When you're dealing with a literal oven like that, your AC has to be working perfectly to even make a dent. So today, we're going after a 2x cooling fix, giving your AC the muscle it actually needs to win the battle against that 60-degree furnace.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start off easy with a basic DIY on the cabin filter, then step it up to some advanced DIY for condensers and radiators. After that, we'll tackle the high-speed cooling drop, reveal a secret hack specifically for older cars, go over some instant cabin cooling tricks, and finally, talk about when you actually do need to visit a mechanic.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1, Basic DIY, the cabin filter.
Okay, this is the absolute easiest, lowest effort problem you can solve. We're talking 5 to 7 minutes max. If you have zero mechanical experience, this is 100% where you want to start. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You crank the AC blower up to max speed. The fan sounds super loud, right? Like it's roaring inside the cabin. But then you put your hand up to the vent and nothing. The air just isn't blowing hard or cold enough. You've got all this high noise, but incredibly low cooling. Well, this is the classic telltale sign of a completely choked cabin filter. It's just clogged up with dust, blocking the air from ever reaching the cooling coil, which completely starves your cabin of that sweet gold air.
The fix here, it's a breeze. And honestly, the amount of money you save doing this yourself instead of paying a service center is wild. First, you just unclip and remove your glove box cover. Next, you'll see the cabin filter right behind it. Just slide that dirty thing right out. Third, you can either blow it clean with some compressed air, or honestly, just replace it. A brand new filter is only going to run you about 300 to 400 rupees. You pop the new one in, snap the glove box back, and boom, immediately your airflow is back, the roaring noise drops, and the ice-cold cooling comes rushing back.
But listen, here is an absolutely crucial point. Do not try to cheap out by buying the wrong filter size. There's a really specific example from a Toyota Innova that hits the nail on the head here. The correct proper cabin filter for an Innova costs around 1,900 rupees. But some folks try to save a quick buck by grabbing a cheap 250 rupee filter that doesn't actually fit, and they just forcibly shove it into the slot anyway. What happens? Well, the cheap filter bends, it cracks, and it lets hot, dirty air leak right past it. All that dirt goes straight into the super expensive cooling coil and completely ruins it. Seriously, always just buy the correct size for your car.
Moving right along to Section 2, Advanced DIY, focusing on condensers and radiators.
Now, these are slightly more advanced, medium-level tasks. They take a little more time, sure, but they will absolutely save you from those massive, day-ruining AC breakdowns during peak summer traffic. You know when you're stuck in heavy stop-and-go traffic and you notice your AC compressor keeps tripping? It clicks on, gives you a tiny bit of cool air, and then just shuts right off. Well, this happens because the condenser, which sits right in front of your radiator, gets completely blocked up with dirt, grime, and tiny bugs. When it's blocked, not enough air can cross the fins, which means the hot AC gas can't cool down like it's supposed to. Plus, if your engine's radiator is overheating because of all that traffic and dirt, your car's computer will actually step in and automatically trip the AC off just to save the engine. So yeah, your AC failure is often directly linked to your engine heat.
To fix this, you can take off the front bumper and give the condenser and radiator a good wash with some water pressure. But hey, pay super close attention here. You have to clean strictly in the direction of the fins. These little aluminum fins are incredibly delicate. If you blast high-pressure water at an angle, or if you take a brush and scrub against the grain, you are going to bend those fins completely flat. That permanently restricts the airflow and will straight up destroy your condenser. So remember, always wash with the fins, never ever against them.
All right, on to Section 3, the high-speed cooling drop. This brings us to a deeply, deeply frustrating symptom. Imagine this. Your AC is working flawlessly at slow city speeds, right? But the second you get on the highway and start driving fast, the AC just abruptly stops cooling. Like, why would it suddenly fail at high speeds? Well, this perfectly illustrates the battle between recirculation mode and fresh air mode. See, when you're driving fast, massive amounts of air pressure are hitting the outside of your car. If your cabin isn't perfectly airtight, that hot outside air just forces its way right in. And this usually happens because an actuator flap inside your dashboard gets stuck, or maybe the internal foam seals have just degraded over the years. Or, and you're not going to believe this, rats have actually bitten through the little exhaust vents hidden behind your rear bumper. Either way, that hot air leaks in, mixes with your AC, and totally kills the cooling effect when you're at highway speeds.
And this leads us to a pretty harsh truth about preventative maintenance. The golden rule here: don't let your cooling coil get 80% choked. Over time, normal dust mixes with condensation and literally turns into mud on your cooling coil deep inside the dash. Now, if your coil is only, say, 50% choked, you can actually use a DIY foaming cleaner spray right through the air vents to clear it out. But if you ignore it and you let that coil get 80% choked, no spray in the world is going to save you. You'll be forced to pay a mechanic a huge chunk of money to completely remove your entire dashboard just to clean the thing out. So check those filters early.
Okay, let's jump into Section 4, a secret hack specifically for older cars.
If your car is getting up there in years and the AC just isn't blowing cold anymore, even if you just got a full gas charge, this insider secret is absolutely for you. In older cars, the foam padding inside the climate control box just degrades and crumbles away into nothing. What this means is that scalding hot air from the engine's heater coil is constantly leaking and mixing with your freezing AC air. To fix this, without paying for a massive, expensive dashboard teardown, you can do what's called a heater core bypass. Pop your hood and look in the engine bay near the firewall. You'll spot two rubber pipes that feed hot coolant right into the dashboard. Simply disconnect those two pipes and connect them together using a U-shaped bypass pipe. This physically stops the hot coolant from ever entering the cabin in the first place, and your AC, it's going to instantly blow freezing cold again. It's a total game changer.
Let's switch gears to Section 5, Instant Cabin Cooling Tricks.
So, we've covered the mechanical fixes, but what about behavioral hacks? You open your car door and it feels like a 60-degree oven inside. Don't just hop in and blast the AC on max in recirculation mode. Doing that just violently moves the trapped hot air around. Instead, try this exact 3-step sequence. Step 1, turn the AC blower to speed 2. Step 2, switch the AC from recirculation over to fresh air mode. And step 3, roll down one front window and the opposite rear window. Now just start driving for about a minute. The fresh outside air will rapidly flush out all that trapped superheated air. Once that 60-degree air is pushed out, roll the windows up, switch it back to recirculation mode, and watch how unbelievably fast your cabin cools down.
Finally, we arrive at Section 6, when to actually visit a mechanic.
As much as I love sharing these hacks in this explainer, we do have to set some clear boundaries. Sometimes you just have to put down the tools, step away, and hand the car over to the pros. So here are the definitive signs of a total system failure where you absolutely need a mechanic. First, if you turn on the AC and the compressor simply doesn't engage at all, just dead silence. Second, you can usually feel a slight drop in engine RPM or a little load on the engine when the AC clicks on. If there's no RPM drop, it's not turning on. And finally, if you safely tap the pressure valve cap and you feel absolutely zero gas pressure, you've got a massive leak. A dead compressor or a completely empty gas line means it is 100% time for the service center.
I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought as we wrap up today's explainer. Think about the state of your car right now. Is your AC actually broken? Or does it just need a simple 5-minute filter replacement and a quick wash of the condenser? I'm willing to bet, more often than not, it's the latter. You now have the knowledge to diagnose this stuff yourself before handing over your hard-earned cash. So, seriously, go out to your car, check that filter, and get that freezing air flowing again. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and stay cool out there.